and thanks to the entire Digital Futures organizing committee. I greatly appreciate this. Okay, I'm honored and humbled. Thank you very much. Without further ado, let me share my screen. Please let me know if you could see this. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay, good. Okay. So again, thank you so much for this honor. I'm grateful to be here today, and congratulations to all the other winners. Okay. So as mentioned in my work, I examine traditional making practices and cultures, digital and automated practices and cultures, and their intersections with society. This includes building new computational and digital tools, new methodologies, developing new practices and research frameworks, and building new expressions in architecture and design so that we might explore new reconfigurations of computational design practice, pedagogy, and our publics. Some of the problems I'm addressing in my work are the disappearance of craft skills, knowledges, practices, and communities, the omission of craft skills, knowledges, and communities from pedagogy, practice, and discourses in computation and computing, and our understanding of the effects of automation alongside human welfare, because technologies usually impact society's least privileged. The vision of my work is to repair craft practices and to repair computational design practices. And when I talk about repair, I use Sennett's description as a point of departure, comprising restoration, remediation, and reconfiguration. Restoration as a recovery in which the damage and use of history is undone, with the restorer as a sort of servant of the past, remediation as preserving an existing form while substituting old parts for new and improved ones, and reconfiguration as a radical kind of repair, one that is more experimental, exploring connections between small repairs and their larger consequences. And I go about this repairing of craft and computational design practices through a framework I call Situated Computations. Situated computations is an approach to computational design that grounds our technologies or methods or theories in the social world by acknowledging the historical, cultural, and material contexts of design and making. It responds to a setting's social and technological infrastructure, and it asks that we refuse to remain ignorant of social and political structures that shape them. Currently, there are 8 principles for this framework for how we design and develop our tools or methodologies or theories, etc., such that we reveal histories, human dimensions, as Neil just mentioned through that previous winner, and recognize the partiality of our knowledges within specific contexts. Some of the things this situated computations approach accomplishes is that it creates a space for participation by those who are currently missing. There are always people missing. It resists the segregation and privileging of certain types of intelligences and skills, and it seeks to amplify the stories of historically excluded and marginalized groups and knowledges. So I'll now show you how this approach is operationalized in my work. I'll start here in the cultural design practice of the Trinidad Carnival, in which the craft of wire bending is embedded. So French planters introduced Carnival to Trinidad in the 1780s, but after slavery was abolished in 1834, formerly enslaved Africans reinvented the Carnival to express their creativity, their freedom, their aesthetic sensibilities, and claim their humanity in the face of a system that considered them less than human. And wire bending came out of this practice, this cultural design event in the 1930s. It was described as one of the most highly developed crafts coming out of the Carnival. And in it, Wire, fiberglass rods, and other linear rod materials are bent and shaped to create costuming and large dancing sculptures, as shown here in this slide. In my ethnographic work to gain an understanding of the Carnival's culture, its traditions, its people, its social and political context, I discovered that the craft was dying. And some of the reasons for this were little to no documentation of these knowledges, slow transmission of it, dying practitioners, and changing practices in light of technological developments. One step to addressing this problem of dying knowledge and a dying craft involved developing what I call the Bailey-Derrick grammar, named after two expert wirebenders I studied and observed, Albert Bailey and Stephen Derrick. This grammar computationally describes the technical knowledge in wirebending. It's a series of drawings that describe the materials, steps, and techniques in wirebending, allowing analysis, transmission of expertise for education and practice. It also facilitates documentation and recording of the design and making process and sheds light on the computational dimensions of the craft, opening it up for expansion and inquiry. It's in a medium that's familiar to that community, drawing with pens, pencils, etc., not requiring necessarily highly expensive technological infrastructure. After developing the grammar, I had to find out what happens when it's deployed in education and practice. And so I taught the technical knowledge, the theory, if we want to call it that, behind the craft, and tested it with students and teachers in Trinidad and Tobago to repatriate this knowledge and observe what would happen. I also conducted field studies, design workshops elsewhere. And these are some of the images of work before engaging with the grammar and after. After learning the grammar, craft skills improved, replication of artifacts was possible. Participants mentioned feeling more confident about what they might explore in this craft. But one of the coolest things I think to come out of it was a new collaborative approach to this craft. Currently, the craft is one-to-one with one person making one artifact. What the grammar afforded was collaboration with participants being able to engage in different roles. So one could document, they could analyze, they could assemble, they could fabricate, some of the many roles that they could now engage in with multiple people working together on one or more artifacts. I also developed computational design approaches or additional computational design approaches that included CNC wire bending, digital design software, digital fabrication machines, etc., to again further open up the practice to those who might be interested in engaging using digital tools and techniques in this practice. And the practice is labor intensive, so to attempt to address that also. These are images of some artifacts designed and created by students using these new computational approaches. And these investigations also included creating new systems and methods for designing and fabricating dancing sculptures for the carnival, creating new possibilities also for architectural form and structures, building on traditional costuming, movement in the carnival, and its craft practices. This also led to new tectonics. Because of the symbolic computational descriptions of wire bending via the Bailey-Derrick grammar, we could now test and design new matrices, new types of connections for applications at the architectural scale. Here are a few examples of some of the tectonics that we designed and tested and explored to make a pavilion. This is an image of a pavilion that we made using these wire bending techniques and tectonics. In a second pavilion that we built, we pulled from, again, the craft of wire bending and costuming in Carnival. On the left, some costumes from 1984 by Peter Minshall. These are active bending structures using fiberglass rods and textiles. And pulling from that, we wanted to use the behavior and stresses of fiberglass rods in making a pavilion for a lightweight competition. This is an image of our prototype, and here we are exhibiting our pavilion at IASS in Spain in 2019. So in sum, my work seeks to repair skills, knowledges, tools, communities, and expressions in both craft and computation via situated computations, which seek to create space for those missing, resist the privileging of certain intelligences and skills, and amplify the stories of historically excluded groups. And with that, I want to thank everyone. Congratulations again to all the winners, and thank you for this opportunity.